What's going on, chess lover? This is Maurice Bishop, and today we're going to show you the power of the Elshad system, playing against the London system. Without further ado, we're actually going to get started. This was actually an online game with Nakim 50 versus Igor Nepsev. This was something that happened back in March 10th, 2015. Hope y'all enjoy this video just as much, or hope y'all enjoy this game as much as I'm gonna enjoy this game. So, without further ado, let's actually get started. Um, my bad, y'all. All right, so white plays knight f3. C6 is played as always. Usually, like when people play the c6, you're probably thinking in your mind that the Caracan is going to be played, but it never happens. D6 is played. Bishop f4, h6. H3, and then G5. So let's go back real quick. So as y'all see here, this setup, this knight f3, D4, and then the F4 setup, as y'all see, this is the London system and everything. This is how they play. So if you're going to play the Elshad system, there's going to be certain things that y'all just really need to know. So obviously, this is pretty much the whole setup when we go H6. Um, I always recommend as soon as Bishop f4 is played, you immediately go h6 automatically, and then if he goes h3, automatically go g5. Now I know a lot of y'all, especially with a lot of the videos that y'all seen with me playing as white, where black goes queen a5. Even with white with c3 and queen a4, y'all see that a lot, but you don't really gotta play the early queen move at all. But in this situation, when somebody playing the London system on you, just follow these rules. All right. So if they play bishop f4, automatically go a6, and then h3 plays, then g5 is what you play. Now, bishop g3 is what's played, and then bishop g7. Remember, y'all, with the Elshad system, it's all about controlling the dark square bishop. And then when this bishop out here on bishop g3, this dark square bishop is going to become, sorry about that, this bishop on g3 is going to become the main target. That's the whole point. But we just develop with bishop g7. E4 is played, and then knight b to g7. And as you see, we're controlling the e5 square, 1, 2, and 3. And of course, 1, 2, and 3. So it's kind of like equal in the center so far. Bishop b2 is played, and then queen b6. Now, the whole point of queen b6 is because, number one, like I told y'all before, this d4 potentially becomes the weakness. Yes, we control dark squares and things like that. This d4 is the core of this dark square, if that makes sense to y'all. So with queen b6, you have queen captures on b2, which is what we're threatening. And then also c5 is also a threat as well to grab more of um, the dark squares, as well as potentially trying to open this dark square up with the bishop on g7. So that's like one of the biggest thing, right? So of course, white is pretty much just realize white can't even go c3 because queen catches b2, as y'all can see. Can't go knight c3 because queen catches b2 is still the same move because now you're hitting the undefended knight. So he's forced to go b3. So after c5 is played, then his opponent goes c3, all right, to defend on this pawn on d4, which is pretty much what he does. Now, Igor goes, and he talks about this in his book, which I'll put that in the description box below. Knight f8 is, that's the move that he played. But in this situation, when you have a position like this, you gotta get with the get down, if you know what I mean. You gotta attack full head. So C catches D4, C catches D4, and then H5 automatically. As you can see, we're already threatening H4, and then G4. I mean, we're threatening H4 and G4. It depends on which one we want to do. Most likely G4 will be the move we want to do. Only because of this knight is the only one that's kind of, or this knight on f3 is supporting this d4 pawn. So the move that we're threatening is actually g4, as y'all can see. So remember, y'all, when y'all playing the Elshad, just remember You have a defender defending this d4 pawn. That's the whole point of the g5 and the h5 move is to push on g4. All right, and then of course, let's go here. Like so, for instance, there's a couple of variations I want to show y'all. So let's say this happens. So let's say knight c3. Let's say knight c3 is the move that is played, right? G4 will be played. H captures G4, and then rook captures H8, bishop captures H8, and now this knight on F3 has to move, right? But he doesn't have to move right away. So knight D5 will be played, and then queen D8, right? And after knight B to D2, or knight F to D2, knight G F6. So the whole point of this is if knight captures, we can automatically capture back. But also, as y'all can see, this is really um, White would really feel uncomfortable in a position like this, very uncomfortable. Another variation is if he decides to castle, let's say he castles, even with this type of stuff is crazy. G4, H captures G4, knight H2, queen captures D4. As you can see, you win the D4 pawn, but also the H file is open, and then you have this bishop with the long range. This rook is going to automatically be taken because even after knight B to D2, queen captures A1, queen captures, bishop captures A1, rook catches A1, and then knight D F6. And as you can see, black is going to win the endgame. He's definitely just going to win at all, especially since this pawn on E4 is going to potentially become weak. And this knight is stuck on H2, which is in an awkward position. Maybe he can go knight F3 or something like that, but it's just going to, White's going to have some problems. All right. But in this game, Igor goes knight F8. His opponent castles, knight e6, also hitting he's hitting knight f4 square, but he also hitting the d4 pawn as well. Which is why his opponent goes e5. And this is another principle that y'all need to realize. If your opponent goes to e5 or maybe c5, like for instance, there's going to be games where your opponent may go c4 and then c5. If they do that or they go e4 to e5, you're automatically going to take it. That is the Elshad principle. If you go e4 to e5, then you automatically take on e5, or if they go c4 to c5, you automatically take on c5. So that's the principle. And in this case, he goes e5, d catches e5, automatically take. D catches e5, h5. Now, as you see, uh, H4 is also being threatened, but H4 is not really what we want. We want G4. That's what we really want on G4 because then this pawn on E5 would be lost. So knight B to D2, G4 automatically, and then knight C4. As you see, White is trying to get some play, so he goes Queen C7. Knight h4, and the whole point of knight h4, you gotta really think how your opponent is gonna think. When he's in a position like this, or just imagine yourself being in a position like this. This is very scary for a rook to be on his h file, and then the pawn's moving down like this, and then he could just take. Like it is very scary for an opponent, especially if you're in a tournament. It's very scary to be in a position like this. So a lot of things could go wrong for White if he don't play the right moves. So, for instance, let's go back real quick, y'all. Instead of knight h4, let's say h captures g4. If h captures g4, then knight h4, then knight h6, queen c2, bishop d7, rook a to d1, rook d8, a4, and then b6. And as you can see, in this position, it's gonna be pretty nerve wracking for White because now Black is starting in like stuff like knight G to F3, you know, and and then and eventually, maybe the rook can double up on H file once his king gets out the way. Or better yet, Bishop C6 maybe. There's a lot of options for Black to attack and everything. So it's going to be very nerve wracking for White to even be in a position like this. It's just Black has a lot of space, or has a lot of options. It's just a lot of things Black can do. All right, so I just wanted to share that with y'all. So knight a6, queen c2, g catches h3, g catches h3, knight g5. You see, he's already threatening the pawn on h3. So of course the king has to defend with king h2, and then of course bishop catches h3. Now, y'all, I did see this move. I thought um, instead of bishop captures on h3, I just felt like queen d7 is probably a best move. I think it's actually the best move because when you look at this move, it's not like the bishop could come here because we can take. So nobody can actually stop this bishop h3 so far. I don't really see it happening. I just don't see it at all. So even after rook fd1, you have queen catches h3 check. If king g1, then bishop f5. You know he's hitting the queen on c2. And then if knight catches f5, then I'm sorry, bishop catches. Yeah, knight catches f5, then knight catches f5, and then rook d3. And then we can just go knight h4, threaten to mate. But even after bishop captures and queen captures, and if rook g3, then we have the good queen f4, rook d1, and king f8. And the whole point is after king f8, you know, white can um, it's kind of hard to tell like what white can really do. Um, I don't know, y'all. Even if he goes like queen d3, you're faced with h4. Like this pawn on the h file is gonna become very very deadly. Even after rook g2, h3, um, he probably could come here maybe. You know, and probably after this 96, probably be something threatening rook d8. So it's just very scary, very, very scary for white to be in a position like this. Um, I mean, obviously the rook can't come here automatically yet because of the queen captures. So maybe not 96. Maybe, I don't know, y'all. Maybe something like 94. I think 94 would have been way better than 96, I would think. Because now he's starting in mate over here. Um, Probably the only thing he could do is probably exchange. But to me, that's going to lose because you're dropping this pawn on c3, and we're going to win the endgame. We're definitely going to win the endgame. So like stuff like queen captures, it don't matter what you do. Either way, it's going to be a bad position because if you take with this pawn, you got double pawns now. It's just going to be bad. And then you're already forking a rook, hitting the light square bishop. Um, yeah, man, it's not gonna be too good for white at all. So black will definitely get the upper hand on this. All right, so let's go back here. Igor actually went bishop catches h3. F4 is played. Bishop catches f1. F catches g5. Bishop catches e2. G catches a6, bishop catches a6, and then if queen catches e2, we just play. Um, but let's go back here, y'all. Um, Instead of bishop catches e2, the move that actually would have been okay, actually probably would have been the best move, would have been probably knight g4 check. Uh, I think this would have been a very great move because even if this king moved, for instance, if this king moved to here, then you can take. I believe you could just take then, and then if the queen takes, then you do have this castle queen side that I believe would be very excellent. I think or maybe not even castle queen side, y'all. Maybe I don't know. Let's see what the engine say. So yeah, the engine says the exact same thing that I say. Bishop captures e2, and yeah, okay. So maybe not the castle. So the engine says castle here or maybe queen d7. And I can see why queen d7. So that's not bad at all. But the whole point of it is from what Igor was saying was after bishop captures g4, bishop captures c4, And then it's bishop h3, then bishop captures e5. Now he's hitting this dark square bishop twice. And if he decides to go rook g1, bishop d5, c4, bishop catches g3, rook catchers, then bishop c6, and black is okay. And sooner or later, black is gonna win this a lot quicker. And probably because of after he castle queen side, he could double these rooks down, or castle queen side, double the rooks, and keep the pin. Especially with this bishop on c6, it becomes pretty deadly. So but yeah. All right, so bishop captures e2, g captures a6, bishop captures a6, queen captures d2, castle queen side, e6, bishop f4, queen g2, rook h to g8, e captures f7. And of course, this is how they played. This is obviously an online game. So obviously, this is how they played. Rook captures g3. Now King 50, he's like a 23, 38. So obviously, I don't think he knew what to do. He was in time trouble, and obviously everything it just pretty much falls. He gets his queen, rook catches g2 with a check, king captures, rook catches f8. After rook f1, rook g8 check, and then white in this position, white resign because obviously there's nothing that white can do really after this. Don't matter where he goes, he can go check and win his knight. It just this is just a lost cause for white. But yeah, y'all, that's the Elshad system. Going against the London system, especially with somebody that's very strong who knows London system very well. But in this game, Elshad system, pretty much rose again on this game. So it definitely was the better game. So I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Please like, please share, please comment. Let me know what y'all think. And also, y'all, don't forget to subscribe. All right, y'all. Peace.